the nation. Our topic of discussion today is Sri Lanka's political landscape. The chairman of the Elections Commission played a number today where the election date was supposed to be announced. He said only the preferential numbers will be announced tomorrow and the date is yet to be fixed. How are political parties faring to the run-up to the parliamentary elections 2020? We've invited three guests to our studios this evening as well. Joining us tonight on the show is Vijay Herath, candidate of the National People's Movement. Also joining us tonight on the show is Susil Premajayantha, Sri Lanka Pulajana Peramuna candidate contesting the upcoming elections. Also joining us tonight on the show is Sujiva Senasinghe, Deputy General Secretary Samagi Janabalavega, as well as a candidate who will be contesting the upcoming elections. Let's start off tonight's show with Susil Premajayantha, Sri Lanka Pulajana Peramuna candidate. Minister Premajayantha, it seems that the cabinet is taking full advantage of the situation at hand now. Initially, if there was an issue with the United States government, there would be one person in your government, that is Vimal Veeravansa, the leader of the NFF, who will be very vocal about the situation with regard to the US diplomat being released without a PCR test. However, the government is now seen to be taking a mum position with regard to this. What is the reason behind this? Is it because you all have an MCC agreement that is supposed to be signed in the near future, or is it because President Gotabaya Rajapaksa was a citizen, was once a citizen of the United States government? Your time starts now.
No, of course, now there are so many issues after the COVID-19 starting spreading out from December. Now we can remember when in Wuhan in China this COVID-19 spreading out. So then 33 students or Sri Lankan students stuck there. The Wuhan, the epicenter of the epidemic. So it took about 1 week to 10 days to get the approval from respective governments to diplomatic channels, not only Sri Lanka, even the United States, the South Korea and all that. And we are the fourth country managed to land in Wuhan and then rescue 33 students. Those are diplomatic issues. Now we can remember about before COVID-19, we had an issue with the Swiss embassy, right? So then we handled it diplomatically, not because of this the diplomat who came here. So we have not issued any guidelines to authorities how to handle diplomats who have immunity. So then we have to respect that also. So then keeping in mind, of course, after this this particular incident, of course, the Foreign Ministry issued the guidelines and had an awareness program to all missions in Sri Lanka to follow guidelines imposed by health authorities in our country. So it is fair enough because without knowing that, of course, then it is our duty to have this awareness program among diplomats. I think that is the very reason. And as you said, of course, nothing connection with the MCC or any other reason, as you said.
But where are these heroes who used to criticize the US government before? Where are they hidden right now? It seems to me that these individuals like Vimal Veeravansa are not talking about this right now because there is a fault on the part of the government.
No, that of course I can't comment on it. Those are the comments made by individuals as politicians, not as the government. So therefore, it is up to individuals to comment on it.
So, Minister Premajayantha, closing the stable door after the horse has bolted, that is the exact way in which the government has acted with regard to this US diplomat who arrived in the country without a PCR test, isn't it?
Of course, I collected all these details through media. So according to media, of course, it's only one officer who passed the immigration and then all this. But unfortunately, our officials who were on duty at that time they should have contacted the Secretary of the Foreign Ministry.
But the
and get
Government
the
Medical
instructions.
Officers Association very clearly articulates that one person can spread up to 600 people the virus, Minister. So one person may be the cause for the virus spreading in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, there's a possibility, but now of course they have instructed all the missions to keep them at their respective residences until the 14 days is elapsed.
But why would the people vote in your government who can't even control one diplomat from a foreign nation arriving in the country through the proper channel, which is the Bandaranaike International Airport? Why must they vote you all in? You all can't do something very simple as this.
No, you mean because of this one particular diplomat who passed through all the barriers in the airport, especially the US diplomat. So then people, they don't want to vote for UPFA, not the SLPP.
You tell me, Minister.
It's absurd. It's only the lunatics think like that.
Right, thank you very much.
Not the average citizens.
Thank you very much, Minister Susil Premajayantha, Sri Lanka Pujana Peramuna candidate. But at the end of the day, if this US diplomat was carrying the virus, there is a threat of it spreading to approximately around 600
Foreign Ministry
people.
has issued guidelines, so this is the first time they came to know about this, and then they will be at their respective residences. So anybody can. So if the government needs to, or if they request, of course, then they can go there and then have the PCR test and check.
Right, thank you very much, Minister Premajayantha. We, of course, during the course of the discussion today, will be speaking more about the government's activities during the last couple of months in terms of taking Sri Lanka forward. We now move to Vijitha Herath, National People's Movement, a candidate contesting the upcoming elections when a date is fixed. Vijitha Herath, you all polled less than 400,000 votes at the last presidential election. That means you will not even get 6 seats in the parliament, which will convene in the next few months, the new parliament that will convene. Doesn't this send shivers down the spine of the JVP or even the NPP for that matter? Because you all won't get much seats and you all are having this campaign that will be rolled out in the next couple of weeks.
Presidential election and general election are not same. There are so many differences. Therefore, we think the result of the presidential election will not affect to the general election, forthcoming general election. Normally, when there is a presidential election, the people vote to major two parties. That is the normal behavior of our country. But it will differ, especially in the general election. And we hope we can increase our vote base in forthcoming election. After the presidential election, we have spent, I think, more than 6 months. There are so many economic and social issues. Before the presidential election, most of our people hoped Gotabaya Rajapaksa and his new government will fulfill the people's requirements. But unfortunately, the president and the new government failed. Therefore, the people has lost their hopes. They are thinking about the new system, and we think because of that reason we can change that situation. We can increase our vote base, and people also want to have a strong opposition in the parliament. That if we consider the democracy, the real democracy, people wants to have a strong, straightforward opposition party in the parliament. We hope people will vote for us on behalf of that reason.
But the question mark right now is Mr. Herath, we've seen in the last couple of weeks the JP not even taking a strong stand against the president not convening parliament as well. In a situation of that sort, why would people rely on a party like the JVP or the NPP for that matter?
We spent last 2-3 months actually, we faced the COVID-19 issue. Therefore, we did not take so many matters seriously. We tried to support to government and the people to overcome that challenge. Therefore, we did not do strong activities against the government as opposition party. But if we consider, if we analyze our past history, the people can understand our activities. Therefore, people have a faith about us, and we will fulfill that people's requirement in near future.
Vijay, tell us what is the position of the NPP with regard to this US diplomat who went into hiding after not engaging in a PCR test and literally showing the middle finger at the Sri Lankan law enforcement authorities at the BIA.
Just after that incident was happened, some senior officer of airport authority, he explained, yes, we identified that person, and that USA diplomats explained about the Vienna Convention. Because of that reason, we allowed to go out to, from the airport without PCR test. I think it is completely wrong. Though diplomats or any other person, he belongs to whichever he belongs to, which country or any political party or any authority, he or she must have a PCR test. That is a law. But this government did not do that. I heard the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dinesh Gunawardena, also explain today to the media, yes, it is violating of the Sri Lankan law. It is completely wrong. All of them are talking about it is a mistake and it is a wrong thing. But they did not take any action against that.
Right. Thank you very much, Vijay Herath, National People's Movement candidate contesting the upcoming elections. We now move our attention to Sujiva Senasinghe, Deputy General Secretary, Samaka Jana Balawegaya, candidate who will be contesting the upcoming elections as well. Sujiva, interestingly, when Akhila Viraj Karyavasam in social media said that 99 members of your party now has been issued with letters suspending them from the UNP membership, most of the members in the Samaka Jana Balawegaya came out and said he can't do so. Why fear such a decision? And why are you all still latching onto the UNP branch when someone wants to take you all away from that equation? Why latch onto it? What is the reason behind it?
For the simple reason is because we still belong to the UNP, and that decision was taken in the working committee, and that we have continued that decision from the working committee and under the symbol of the telephone, and we have acted with that intention, and we have no intention of leaving the UNP. That decision was taken to formulate the coalition, a bigger coalition, that was decided by Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe and the rest of them. Actually, we were not present at that working committee. And at that working committee, they decided to appoint Sajith Premadasa as the Prime Ministerial candidate and the leader of that alliance, the wide alliance, and for him to appoint the General Secretary as well, which Mr. Madhum Bandara was appointed as General Secretary. And moving on, we have taken the UNP, we have taken the full mechanism of the UNP, and we have formed the bigger coalition, and we are going to contest under the telephone. So nobody can change that. Once the decision had been taken, we have not been sent a single intimation actually to say that they have acted differently. So we don't want to move away from that decision. We stand by that decision. It's legal, and that is a practice to do so as well. And we are moving forward with that. And few people, along with Mr. Wickremesinghe at the last moment, decided to come under the symbol of the elephant. And only few people, and most of the people also decided that Sajith Premadasa, all of them actually. It's a unanimous decision by the working committee to appoint Mr. Premadasa as the head of the coalition, Prime Ministerial candidate, and why should we differ from that decision?
The oldest political party in Sri Lanka cannot come into a consensus about such a trivial matter, about who will be the leader taking on the parliament election. Why? Isn't it a disgrace on a party like the UNP for not being able to come to a decision about who will be contesting the upcoming elections?
I think no, we have come to a consensus. 100%. It was actually a unanimous decision by the working committee. And later on, you use the word disgrace. And I wouldn't want to comment on Mr. Wickremesinghe. For 26 years, he had been the leader of our party. Before 94, we had been in the opposition only for 5 years. From 48, before 94, before Mr. Wickremesinghe took on the party, we have been only in the opposition only for 5 years continuously, other than the period Ms. Bandaranaike extended by 2 years and went on to rule for 7 years. Other than that, we have always come back to power. And Mr. Wickremesinghe had actually held a world record, taking UMP for 26 years. It's going to be 30 years with him. And we had to take the decision. I have been in the forefront taking that decision. And 65 people from our party crossed over to the other party trying to do that. And we have achieved that. And now we are actually on the right path.
Right. I want to talk about the same question that I posed to Minister Prema Jayantha as well as the NPP candidate who will be contesting elections, Vijay Herath, with regard to the US diplomat coming into the country. We've seen in the past that such issues have reflected badly on respective governments. We've seen, Sujiva, we don't want to discuss about it today, but you've seen how the central bank bond controversy really dragged the UNP down in the last elections in Sri Lanka since 2015 in particular. Do you think Minister Prema Jayantha believes that people should be lunatics for not voting in the SLPP government just because they could not hold a US diplomat entering the country? What is your view on this? Do you think the people should hold the government responsible for such actions?
Any person who doesn't vote for a hypocrite is not a lunatic. I've always stood my ground. I always told what I believed and done what I believe. I have said the right thing, and I have never swayed upon things that I have told, and I always stood by, and that is what the people want, consistency from a politician. And when they change sides, they change their principles also, and this is ridiculous. And if you had seen, you have mentioned actually Mr. Dinesh Gunawardana's name and Mr. Vimal Veeravansa's names, and I could remember in Parliament how they could be vocal in a situation like this. Parajatiyakata rata pawa dila, in Sinhalese they would say this, Vijatika balavega, Adhirajyavadinta rata pawa dena, and these voices are all silent. And how could you allow somebody coming from US, just because he's from US, the country has a basic law, a system. What you said was totally correct. And if the government can't take action, and he was there for 1 hour, he was arguing with the authorities, and then somebody, a powerful person, must have given a call and sent him home. And is he under quarantine? And what sort of a government is trying to say that? And definitely there are 2 reasons for that. One reason is Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa was a citizen. I don't know whether he's still a citizen. I've read some reports that he's still a citizen. But immaterial of that, then the other factor, the MCC agreement, they will definitely sign that. And this is a pathway, this is the background, and this is the platform for the MCC agreement. And we knew that they were going to sign this. And I can play a couple of actually speeches also by them. And they're total hypocrites. What they have been saying when they've been in the opposition, they are doing it, I think, 200% than the last government, things that they hated and they criticize. And I don't see how under Vienna Convention or whatever convention, the country's laws are very important. Under Vienna Convention, civil and criminal, they have some sort of immunity, but you have to abide by the law of that country, any person. If Donald Trump comes, he also must abide by that, and you have different protocols. The PCR test may be done in a different way. And for these diplomats also, there's a system. And why should you allow, and these are the people who said America should be treated same like another country. And you ask a question, a foreigner, not just a foreigner, the American diplomat. And America is a powerful country, we know that as well. But the law must be same for equal for everybody.
Thank you very much, Sujiva. We, of course, will speak more about it momentarily when we open the floor for questions from our journalists. But I just want to place on record a statement that was issued by the Sri Lankan representative to the United Nations in Geneva, Tamara Kurunayakam. She says, under the circumstances, the government must resort to Article 9 of the Vienna Convention and request the US Embassy to withdraw the diplomat in question, or as a last resort, notify the sending state that the diplomat is persona non grata under international law. The US has an obligation to comply with such a request, and if it fails to do so within 48 hours, Sri Lanka must refuse to recognize the person as a member of the mission, revoke immunity, and give national authorities access to the person. So we open the floor for questions from our journalists. On to my immediate left is Nadine Majid, and on to my far left is John Fernando. Let's start off with John.
Thank you, Shamir. I would like to continue on the same note. Honorable Minister, now, if we put aside the whole failure to stop this diplomat from going through, or he refused to take the PCR test, if we think about the mentality of the people in the country, we have the health sector in the front line, we have the police in the front line battling this fight against COVID-19. And then, out of nowhere, there's a diplomat from the US who simply refuses to take the PCR test. Well, we should understand definitely that when it comes to diplomats, there is some sort of immunity, or there are some due procedure that has to be followed, especially when a diplomat is entering a country. So my question is, was not a circular issued by the government prior to this diplomat entering the country? Wasn't that procedure taken before he entered?
No, whether the person is a diplomat or not, foreigner or Sri Lankan, who come to Sri Lanka after we impose the certain rules and regulations and guidelines by health authorities in our country. So they have to abide by those regulations, and they have to follow the guidelines given by the health authorities.
Definitely.
But unfortunately, in this particular, that's what I collected only from media. I don't have any personal knowledge about the incident, right? So then the diplomat came from US diplomat. He came to the airport. So then he has informed the authorities at that time who questioned him that he is covered by Vienna Convention, certain rules and regulations. But unfortunately, the authorities who were on duty at that time, the airport, they should have consulted the Director General of the Health Services, because I found that he has not been consulted by authorities who were on duty at that time. Their first duty is to inform the Director of Health Services, Director General of the Health Services, and ask him whether he is excused or not. So unfortunately, it has not been done. But on the other hand, as a diplomat or as a human being, under these circumstances, it is his duty voluntarily get into this PCR test and get the test done.
But Mr. Premachandra, just to add to what John was saying, I think the point that John was trying to make there is now diplomats operate under protocols and conventions, and sometimes all of the laws of the host country do not apply to diplomats. That's the same for a US diplomat here, it's the same for a Sri Lankan diplomat in the US as well. Yes. So I think the question that John was trying to ask is, in any country, you wouldn't be happy if your diplomats in another country, if officials of that country or agents of that country, they may be nurses or doctors or whoever it is, sticking needles in your diplomats, because they would want to be forewarned of that. So I think the question that John was asking there is, was prior notice given to the diplomatic community
to inform them that these are now the protocols and that diplomatic immunity does not extend, that the Vienna Convention does not cover this? Was prior notice given to all of the, not just the US, the UK,
Yeah.
the Russians, the Chinese,
Yeah,
whoever?
answer to your question is I am not aware about the prior notice, but I found in the news, the electronic media as well as print media, the next day after this incident was reported to the Foreign Ministry. The Foreign Ministry has issued a circular, and then they have informed all the diplomats, missions in Sri Lanka.
But Minister
So
Premachandra,
again, it's after
you,
the fact,
You
though.
keep on
The thing-
saying, Minister
Yeah.
Premachandra, you keep on saying that you have got to know about this incident through social media.
Can I also have a
And I'm,
No, no,
yes, of
not the
course.
social
And I'm
media
trying to
then.
wonder, and I'm
No,
trying
the
to figure out,
next
you
day.
are the General Secretary of the United People's Freedom Alliance
No,
under the
I
leadership
was.
of President Mahinda Rajapaksa when he was the head of state.
Yes.
Now he's the Prime Minister. It seems to me that you have been sidelined from your political party.
No. Now the new political.
because you keep on saying that you've got the news from the media, social media,
Let me
and all
explain
that
that.
and more.
Let me explain that I was the General Secretary of the UPFA until the August 2015. That is nearly 5 years ago.
You were a strong one of the
Yeah,
government.
that is okay, but there's a new party now after 2017, that is SLPP. Now I am only a member of SLPP. I am not holding any key positions of that political party because I am only a candidate at the moment, right? That is the difference between earlier position
No, but
and present position.
I want to get back to Sujiva.
Can I also
Yes,
ask
yes, of course. Yeah, you can respond
one
to
question
that.
from Mr. Premachandra. Actually, no, that is the.
This is a question time.
No, not a question.
You
time.
they can ask questions from you as
No,
well. so
just
not
a
problem.
friendly question.
Everyone
Yeah,
can
friendly.
ask
No,
questions
we-
from each other.
Even we felt that you all were sidelined and all the you are in a government, and if a government minister says that I'm not aware of a very critical situation in the country.
I am not a minister at the moment.
Yeah, but like you're part of the government.
No,
The government is in,
I was
function.
only a state minister for just 3.5 months, and once the parliament is dissolved on 2nd of March, so we are just ordinary candidates.
It's a
We are not,
caretaker government.
neither we are ministers or state ministers or members of parliament. According to the constitution, only the caretaker government, only the cabinet ministers can continue until the next election is held.
No,
Thank you, Mr.
agreed, Mr. Brennan. There is no contention about it. But the problem is, if a similar statement was made by a first-time parliamentarian in the UPFA government, I think Sujeev and I may probably buy that argument. However, now I cannot buy that argument because you have been a front runner
Live
of
wire.
the People's Alliance for many, many decades. And then you stepped down from the post of General Secretary of the UPFA in 2015. And then you were one of the people who supported the Mahinda Rajapaksa comeback from the ashes after his defeat in 2015 to form the SLPP as well. And now you are being sidelined from the political party in which that you were a strongman.
No, but the thing is, I was at that time I was the member of SLFP. So then I have been there nearly 30 years as a member of SLFP from late 80s. And then I have held different portfolios and in the positions in the party. But after 2015, of course, I resigned from the Secretary General post of the UPFA after the general election, the last general election. And in the 2017, the new political party, SLPP, emerged and they won 2018 local government elections. They came first among all other traditional political parties, overtaking the UNP and the SLFP. So now I am only a member of SLPP, and now at the moment I am a candidate representing SLPP
And I'm glad,
in Colombo district.
and I'm glad, Minister Premachandra, you are
I'm very
taking a
humble,
modest
because
approach
I-
to this.
Thank you.
Yes,
Minister
sir.
Premachandra, I have some, I know it looks like we're piling the pressure on you. I have some questions for our other two panelists as well, but before that, I'd like to quickly sort of resolve this matter. I think we're grateful that, if I'm not mistaken, the President made a statement today that public officials should not engage in election campaigning. As an attorney at law, I'm sure you're aware that there's an article in the Constitution 104 GG which says that any public official or any member of any board or institution that is under government, if they fail to comply with directives and guidelines issued by the Election Commission, that they are liable, that they've committed an offence and are liable to imprisonment of up to 3 years or a fine of
It is in the
100,000
election
rupees.
law.
The question that I have is about 4 hours ago, a member of the board of directors of the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Board has put out a tweet campaigning for one candidate from your party, the SLPP, whilst vilifying the leader of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya. Now, as a director of the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Board, has this public official committed an offence, and do you believe that he should be held to account under this law?
Yes, of course, irrespective of the person, if they violate the election law, and the commission can take action. And but at the same
candidate
time,
that he is campaigning for has also liked that tweet. Do you
Candidate-
believe that there should be an
No.
intra-party disciplinary action taken against
no,
to
the
prevent such
candidate
actions?
is not responsible for that. I don't know whether with the knowledge of candidate or not, that particular director
has been
is
liked by the
campaigning for him. But what I can say is, as you pointed out this, then what about one of the commissioners of the election commission who made some comments 2 days ago and confronted with the former governor in Northern Province?
True. I agree with you that, if there has been this thing.
Sir,
But I'm
first of
asking
all,
is,
commission has to take action against the member.
again, like we can go into what about in Sri Lanka's case.
We don't
you
know.
can
We
go
don't-
into
we
what
don't know
about
the text because we
until
don't know.
from 1948
Because
to date, we can say what about this, what about that.
Yes.
But I mean, you do agree that that action should be taken. And that
We
this
know
official
now
should be
from this is the 9th preferential election that I am contesting since 1991. So I have held caretaker portfolio 4 times before this election. Now I am not holding any caretaker portfolios. But we have not been appointed, we have not been engaged in any kind of irregularities or against election laws during when we were caretaker ministers.
Mr. Premajayanta, this
We need to focus on Sujeev and Vijita as well.
So, same question to you as well, as the Deputy Secretary General of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya. Candidates in your party have begun, if you follow on social media, you'll see that they have begun campaigning and have been posting their preferential numbers as well. Now, those preferential numbers have not even been gazetted by the Elections Commission yet. Don't you think that they are committing an offence that is jeopardizing the conduct of a free and fair election on as level a playing field as possible?
But they have taken a risk, no, because the numbers, even we don't know our numbers yet. So they must be dreaming about a number, and probably it's a mistake if they are posting a number. We haven't got a clue what our numbers are. I don't know whether unofficially whether somebody has got the numbers. But if they have got it, then the commission.
Do you think that it's a mistake if they do have the number? Let's say now we know that the numbers would have gone to the government.
Because commission must answer that question, because I am not aware of any numbers being allocated.
The chairman of the Elections Commission, Sujeev, has said that a period of 60 days would be given for campaigning.
Yeah, 60 to 70.
60 to 70 days. So is that enough given the current pandemic situation in the country?
It's not. It's not. Actually, our earlier request was actually to normalize the country first, because people are struggling at the moment. They haven't had an income for about 2-3 months, and now the bills are piling up. The electricity bill, Mr. Actually, Mahindanand Alutgamage in a program with me said that for 2 months they won't charge electricity and water bills, and he made a pledge. But now all the bills have come, they've accumulated, and from the first month to the second month, it's not separate also. So the units are getting accumulated. If you have 80 units, now it's 200 units, and then the bill is also gets double or triple. So if you had a bill for 3,000, now it's I just met some very ordinary people. Their bills were 3,000. Now it's 12,000. How are they going to pay this? How are they going to go to a house or to a meeting and talk about politics when people are struggling to survive. They haven't had their jobs, they're out of jobs, and they haven't, it's a daily, sometimes a daily wage person. And we need at least 1 or 2 months for them to normalize the country first give them opportunity to earn something so they can feed their families. And without that, and we don't know, they're going to bulldoze us. That's what I always said. On dead bodies on COVID-19, they are trying to have this election. And the commission also must. Now they have a sort of a small leverage from the courts. They can have it, they can go beyond June 2nd, and they can have it on any day. So they should have first normalized, ask the authorities, the health authorities and other government agents whether they are ready for election. They are also saying they are not ready for election. So I don't know why the hurry, 1 month and then another 2 months, then we would have, you have to have an election also, we agree, but people need to first normalize and pay their bills and then first survive.
Mr. Senasinghe, the position of your party has been that the country can't be run without a parliament. And we know that these petitions, 7 petitions were filed before the Supreme Court, and none of them were granted leave to proceed, and therefore this issue of reconvening the previous parliament has been put to rest. But you are now saying that we have to keep postponing the election.
Not postponing. Give us a adequate time to get for the people to get ready. It's about people.
Consider that in that time the government
until the government becomes unpopular in the next 2 to 3 months.
That advantage, we might get that advantage, but we are not waiting for that. We are just asking, create a level playing field, because most of the, except for your media, most of the media is hijacked by the government. And the stooges are the leaders of those media organizations. If you watch news, it's a song. You first see the army commander in his official kit, and then you see him in a shirt, then you see him in a t-shirt, and there's a song then playing, and martyred up the government, and it's mostly on racial sort of slandering also with that. And then with that, how do you expect us to do election? We don't have the media. The government media is also with them, and most of the papers are also with them. And then you don't have a sort of a level playing field for us to go and talk to the people, and we can't have normal rallies. And how do you expect us to take our message to the general public?
Mr. Vijitha Herath, we've seen the NPP has been vocal in the past, and the JVP, in fact, long before the existence of the NPP, the JVP has been very vocal in its stance of how public officials need to be independent and impartial in how they conduct their activities, and must put the public interest at the forefront in everything that they do. What is the JVP or NPP's current stand on the actions of Professor Ratnajeevan Hool, member of the Elections Commission?
Mr. Ratnajeevan Hool explained that he did not say about that. Some Sinhala media published some news regarding his explanation, but he denied it. He told that yesterday and day before yesterday also he explained twicely. He only said another thing, but some Sinhala media journalists
misunderstood because of maybe the lack of understanding of language.
Not misunderstood, purposely.
But Mr. Herath, the problem is...
I don't know exactly. He said not. I don't know exactly, but we can understand some group of people try to criticize the election commission using Mr. Ratnajeevan Hool. Their strategy is criticize the election commission, and then they can violate the election law during the election period. That is their strategy.
Regardless, Mr. Herath, though, but even if Professor Hool did not mention a name of a party in his initial statement in Tamil on the Tamil language TV station, in his response thereafter, he has mentioned the name of a party and has vilified it. So even though he may not have originally said it, his response, he may have inadvertently perhaps compromised his independence as an election commissioner. Do you agree with that position?
No, as a person, he has a right to say something, but now he is a member of the Election Commission. Therefore, he has responsibility. I don't know whether he did that offense or not. I don't know about that, because he told it in Tamil language, and according to his explanation, he did it when there was a conference in BMICH, the March
12th movement.
Yeah, movement. I don't know exactly he did it or not, but I think as a member of Election Commission, he also has some responsibility. There are some mistakes. Actually, sometime he go beyond his capacity.
Mr. Herat, now, as you mentioned, this statement was made in Tamil language. Okay, and then we saw the chairman of the Elections Commission mentioning that maybe it was a mistake due to the lack of fluency in the language. Mr. Premachand, did you before, now it looks as if this whole statement, or if you call it a mistake, is politicized in an unnecessary manner. Did you take a look at a sworn translation of the statement made in Tamil, translated to Sinhala?
No, but the thing is, that is why I said earlier, now Professor Hool, I don't know, according to some newspapers, right, he had told at a press conference that not to vote SLPP.
No, Mr. Premachand,
Right, wait. That is one statement. The other one is, he had said, I don't understand that Sinhala garbage literature. That is approximately the waste. Say, Sinhala waste literature.
Mr.
Now
President,
wait. Now there are two statements that I found in the newspapers. So he has denied later that he didn't say not to vote for SLPP. All right, we'll say we don't know the language. But he has not denied that Sinhala waste or garbage literature. So that is insult not to any political party. That is insult to the Sinhala language.
No, actually, he
that is a mistake.
Not to the Sinhala literature.
Paper.
Some
Garbage.
journalist.
No.
Journalist.
No, literature means not the I mean not the Sinhala
He never used the word literature.
He mentioned journalist.
what I meant literature means the newspaper literature. That
Mr. Premachand, it seems
waste.
that you're getting too much of information from social media and you're mixing up the facts.
No. I pointed out 2
Government is not
points.
informing
No, wait. 2 points. That is one is that he denied the first part, SLPP. I didn't say about SLPP.
Yeah, that's correct.
But he has not said anything about the latter part.
No, he has.
No.
He has. Can I play?
Some
I'm not bored here.
Sinhala
Can
journalist.
just-
No,
Garbage.
but wait. Then on the
Journalist.
other hand, as Mr. Vijay Herat said, he is a member of Election Commission. Now we are talking about one of the directors of a tourist board, his comments. I said it's wrong. If that is so, then why we are hesitating to say he is also wrong? Professor Hool. We never say Hool. We say respectfully Professor Hool. That is how we address the people.
But Mr. Premachand, the last time you were on the show,
I need to give an opportunity to Sujeeva also to respond. Sujeeva, you want to say
Yeah,
something?
just a
add
very
to that?
short,
Yeah.
because I don't know Mr. Hool, but I've heard he's an honorable person. What he had said, I was just watching because I also didn't know. But he says three allegations made. Actually, he was attacked continuously about his car being used, and he says in that, and that car has been because of the COVID-19. He takes a bus normally. That's how he travels to Jaffna. And so commission.
Because of the COVID, he traveled
Commission
in a
loved
vehicle.
for him to then say the paper
Those
tagged
are
him.
minor things.
Paper tag, no, but the paper didn't make it because I went to a gathering house. They said he's a hora. Who is a hora? The paper had said that. No, general public, because when you have a statement from the defamatory statement, you ruin a person's credibility. Then that's how when a journalist asked him, he said that Sinhala garbage paper. It's not about the language.
Yeah.
So that's how what he said. I don't know. I may be wrong. And then the other explanation for he said, when he's asked a question about certain politicians, he said, corrupt and dishonest politicians should not be voted in. So I think he has the mandate to do that as a commission, but beyond that, he can't mention a party. But hindsight, when somebody said this is the party you mentioned, then to correct it, he would have said if they Toppi Haranan Dagan e Pakshina, he would have said that.
Mr. Premadanta, just very quickly, last time you were on the show, we had this conversation, and you did say that some of the interactions with the Elections Commission, the tone has been very rude, and that could interactions between the government and the Elections Commission. It was a very fleeting remark on the tone of the message.
No, you find three members of the commission, according to the Constitution. After the 19th Amendment of the Constitution, there are 3 members, right? So I don't want to mention.
Let me quickly get to the question, Mr. Premadanta. The thing is, you have Mr. Vijitha Herath, who is alleging that what is happening now, the sustained sort of attacks, long before this incident happened, the sustained attacks on Professor Hu were part of a strategy to undermine the Elections Commission to achieve the aim of repealing
I will
the 19th
explain
Amendment.
that. Attack not on commissions by certain politicians, right, or the newspapers. Attacks on some members of the commission. Now see, normally the politicians or the newspapers, they never attack the other 2 members. It's only this member. Now there's another member. He's a former legal draftsman, right? His name was also not mentioned, right, throughout. Why? He, as a member of the independent commission, especially the election commission, right, he is silent, and he never go before press and all that, right? So then in this, not only at this particular incident, so when the 8 petitions filed in Supreme Courts under Article 126 of the Constitution, and the one was withdrawn after 2 days, and 7 petitions were there, right? 4 out of 7 petitioners from one political party, and then from another petition from another smaller political party, and 2 from 2 NGOs, right? So then who are the respondents? Election Commission. Commission is one entity, not individual commissioners. But when they make their representation in Supreme Courts, one counsel for commission, another counsel for 2 commissioners, another counsel for.
I think
they can.
We've been talking about this matter during the last 3 weeks, so I'm just going to get over from that.
You want to repeat that?
Yes, I just want to
You
get
don't
over
repeat
that.
that.
No, I want to add
very
only
quickly,
one thing.
Very quickly.
Mr. Vimal Veer once attacked to chairman of the Election Commission, and the chairman of the Election Commission responded him via social media.
Those
So I'm
of
sure
course.
Mr. Prem
not
Chand
only
would have
the
seen that, for sure.
No, I don't want to comment on all these things, but as a politician and as a lawyer.
Ms. Prem, let me ask you this very simple. When you were the General Secretary of the UPFA,
Let's park that
I
for
have
a
never
moment.
commented on commission
Mr.
or the
Prem Chand,
members of the commission.
Mr. Prem Chand,
You have
we
not,
have to
you
take
have
it
not.
Because
as
I am
an
a
opportunity.
candidate. Because I am a candidate.
Yeah, so we'll take this as an opportunity today because tomorrow preferential numbers are going to be out to discuss about the policies that you all have in
You
mind.
think that they might change the numbers?
But I don't think that we will have any hand in changing the numbers unless otherwise the government has. But militarization, Sujiva, we've been talking about this fear psychosis engraving the country after President Gotabaya Rajapaksa comes into play. And we didn't see this during the first few months in office. However, now, just 5 days ago, the Sri Lankan president appoints a 13-member presidential task force headed by the defense secretary, who is a retired major general, to build a secure country and a disciplined society. And 12 of these 13 members are from the military. It seems that the military are now telling the people of Sri Lanka what they should do and what they shouldn't do. And this is dangerous, isn't it?
It's very dangerous, but people might not realize it. Because, Shamir, you see, in where is Aung San Suu Kyi is from Burma.
Yeah, Myanmar.
Myanmar, and then even Germany. Because you have created this social media that politicians are bad and all 224, and the media also have got into the bandwagon, and they have created this image for people. So people think, okay, you have disciplined people in the army, so this is good. But this is very deadly, very dangerous, and this is not how countries are run. And not only the task force, and the task force will be in charge of administration. And we don't need secretaries in the future. And not only that, and top of that, about another 10 or 15 have been appointed to very high posts. And when I made this comment the other day, they said the president has to bring his friends and people who he trusts to this post. But can you do that as a military person? And the ramifications are going to be deadly in the future. People don't realize this. And now even people might criticize me why I'm saying this, and these people are very disciplined, so they'll do a good job. But you can't run countries with military. And they have tried. Certain countries have tried that. Musharraf was a total failure. Hitler was a total failure. There are failures. And President had been quite good the first few months. But slowly he's bringing, I'm not saying these people are bad, but this is not good for a democracy. And this is we are going to face this in the future. And democracy, whether these 224, they are not the best people, I know, I agree. And I may not be the best person also. But the people have the choice to appoint the best 224. We are appointed by the people from the people, not from a different country.
Now, Sujiva, you said the president is good.
No, not
And
good,
I am
not good.
saying that these people are bad.
I didn't say he's good. I didn't say
you mentioned
president
that,
was good, and he was not the fear psychosis created
Right, so you
by
said-
us. He was not that bad.
So let me rephrase it
He was at the beginning. He's good. He was good, but now slowly it's only 1 year, and in the future, in 6 months, now he's bringing a task force with 13, and one of them is also a person who made a voice politically, and who's the Secretary of the Defense also, and he was on stages. So is it and conflict of interest? They have appointed so many people who's in the industry, and they are the chairmen of those industries, about 5 or 6 people. And then is this a proper situation? And everybody spoke about we need a country.
So let me rephrase that, Sujiva. You said the president was good. And
No,
these
at the
people are not bad.
first few months,
First few
he
months.
didn't make
So
any
people
appointments like that.
these
He
people are
was
not bad.
Yeah.
So why must the people look for an alternative and not give President Gotabaya Rajapaksa a fully fledged parliament for him to govern the country?
So that is what the people are going to do now in the next election. But I don't think he will do it, because from what Mr. Premajayanta says, they are not aware of anything in the government, what is happening. Normally in my party, we are aware of all the things that is happening. We have meetings, we have, even as members, we are always informed of the present.
The problem, Sujiva, that the UNP had was, one of the issues that the UNP had was lack of democracy.
Yes, inside the party.
Inside the party.
Yeah.
Samagi Jana Balabege, is there democracy within your party?
Definitely, total democracy. And we don't have dictators. And Ranil Wickremesinghe was, I'm not saying this because he's not here, I have been always telling him that to his face, and that is how he has run our party. And he walked away in '94, he walked away as a gentleman, but he never walked away from our party. With all the defeats, he brings always a common candidate. And if you bring a common candidate, I'm not supposed to bring a common candidate. If I lose, I should go. I can't bring a common candidate for my electorate or to my seat if I lose. So 26 years, 30 years, we have governed this country. Our leaders from D.S. Dudley, John, J.R., Premadasa, Gamin, Lalit, we have governed for 30, just 1 month, for 30 years, and we have been in the opposition for 30 years.
Because we don't have a representation from the UNP today.
Yeah, but I have to speak when you ask a question about him.
So I want to switch to Vijita Herwat now. Vijita, interestingly, what is the stand of the NPP with regard to the establishment of private universities? In terms of medicine. Let's make it very precise.
Not only the medicine, as a principle, we think the free education is the best. Unfortunately, all governments couldn't fulfill the free education in our country. Therefore, parents have to go the private institutions. we have enough resources to fulfill education facilities to all types of students, university students and school students. But the government's policy is increasing the private education system.
Is it good or is it bad?
I think it is bad.
It is bad.
Bad.
What is the position of the NPP with regard to SITAM?
We oppose that.
Right. Now I have a question.
We opposed
for you. Right.
and we defeated that.
Right. I have a question for you.
And especially, when we face the COVID-19 issue, all of our people understood what is the necessity of the free health system in our country.
Right.
If we had no free health system, we have to face many difficulties.
Right. In one of the annual reviews of one of a top businessman in Sri Lanka, it states discussions are taking place with the University of Aberdeen aimed at launching an MBBS degree through which local students can aspire to a foreign MBBS at an affordable cost.
Yeah.
Now, no one is against this. It seems to me we are rewinding ourselves back to another SITAM era, isn't it?
Yes, we are studying that. I have heard that news, and there are so many news in some social media and some newspapers also. The owner of this Asiri hospitals, the Asoka Patirage, and his company is going to start a private medical college in our country. I think the government has not signed that agreement with that company yet, but government is going to start that private medical college.
Now my question boils down
Yeah.
to, my question boils down to, it's very easy for the NPP or even the JVP that you have been representing while in Parliament to criticize a move after it's done. So it seems to me that you're waiting until the government makes the wrong move to voice your concerns. So this is being petty, isn't it?
No, as opposition, now
You are waiting until the government makes a mistake.
no, we can.
Then what is your role?
No, the first thing is we have to study it. Otherwise, we cannot do anything.
So how long does the studying process take?
But it's a private medical college, you know, nothing to study.
No, the agreement was signed or not. Are they going to sign the agreement or not? We have to study it.
But you can voice your concerns now before something major happens, and
Before something happens,
yeah, you can
before
say
something-
before crying over spilt milk, you can talk about it.
Because they have
this
said
is
it's a private medical college. It's not a
this is a
semi-private.
primary situation. Therefore, we have to study and we have to analyze and we have to obtain that agreement, and we have to ask from obtain some information from the Aberdeen University. Then
No,
we
but
can do
this
something.
probably is one of the reasons, which is that the people don't want to vote the JVP to power, because it's very easy to be on the other side of the fence and criticize. I think Sujio will agree with me. When they were in government, their job was very difficult because criticism was leveled by individuals like Minister Prema Jayantha, who was in the opposition back then. Criticism was leveled by the JVP, by even you at the UNP at that time, and you all have never been in that position of power. You all were for nearly 3 years, and then you all left the government because there were disagreements. It's easy.
When we were in the government in 2004, I was the Minister of Cultural and National Heritage. We did our job successfully. Not only I myself, our 4 ministers, agriculture and fisheries and small industries, we did it very successfully. We can hold the ministries and we can run the country. If we have a chance, we can do it. But now we are in the opposition.
All right, so
Therefore-
I want to interrupt you for a second here.
Yeah.
And very quickly switch to Minister Premachandra. Would you all give way or endorse an establishment of a private university in Sri Lanka for an MBBS degree?
If you ask you all, it is difficult to answer that question, but as a person, and I have handled...
You in government.
Yes. You know, the private medical colleges, why we need private medical colleges? If we have enough doctors passing out from our 8 medical faculties, right? I don't see any reason, because the thing is, according to the SETSCO and all that, now that is the criteria, because you find in one particular year in Colombo, to enter to the medical faculty in Colombo district, you have to get 2.5, say for an example. But at the same time, the same year, in districts like Nuwara, Ampara or Vanni, so then with 1.6 or 7, the student can enter into the medical faculty. Then what about 2.49 student obtain 2.49 ZSCO at the same examination, he is left out.
No, Minister Premachandra,
So-
your thinking is right, but
Yeah.
the question is, when the UNP was trying to make sure that this SITEM project, which was endorsed by President Mahinda Rajapaksa at that time, was then opposed by the Government Medical Officers Association, including the JP in Parliament, you all were against it.
No. Why? There's a reason. There's a reason, because in between 1.8 and 2.5 in Colombo districts, Gampaha, Kandy and all that, with 2.4, 2.3, they are not given opportunity to enter to the medical faculty, while the people who have money with lesser qualification
It's double standard.
enter into the medical faculty. So if the students who obtain over 1.6 or 7, the minimum cutoff mark, right?
No, but that's contradicting your earlier
then
statement.
student can ask question, right? Why, if 1.6 student, the same examination, because of the district basis system, they are given opportunity, but
Can I make a small-
2.4 we are not getting opportunity.
But I don't understand. This is what I always say. Sometimes they're confused. UMP may not be the most popular party, and people may not sometimes like our principles also, but we have always stood by our principles. And from what he says, if you have 2. Now he says 2.6 and 2.5, there are so many 2.5. So then the 2.5 people must have the money to go to the private medical school.
Yeah.
And 2.4
They
doesn't
can.
have,
My
2.3 doesn't
position-
have.
my position
and it
is
doesn't work
below-
that way.
below 1.6.
And who will have 100 lakhs
Below
from
1.6.
2.5 or something
They are not
like that?
allowed.
No, all I'm saying is this.
They are allowed.
All I'm
Mr.
saying,
Premachandra, a lot of those students, they go to
Go abroad.
China, to
Exactly.
Cyprus, to Georgia, to all these
and they're
universities.
taking our money.
They come here, then they come here,
They have
they
to
do
sit
the
for
exam.
Act 16.
They
No,
sit
no, and-
for the
and they
exam,
take our
and
money.
then they practice as doctors. So the
Nadine,
problem, isn't
Nadine-
it better to have them here?
Nadine,
No, I
they
don't-
take,
no, no,
they
wait,
take our
wait.
money, Nadine.
Let me
Yeah.
explain. Let
For
me
300,
explain.
300
As I
lakhs.
explained earlier, I don't have any question about the student who obtain over 1.6 going to a private medical university and get their degree, because then there's an argument. So that is why even during the UNP government, the Minister of Health, he tried to pass a cabinet memorandum that is to set the standard, minimum standard,
Nadeem,
3
one
Bs or
question.
2 Cs,
I
so
have a
like
question.
that, of course. Then if you have some criteria
I have a
and the
question.
standard,
Yeah, I have a
so
question.
we have to maintain that. That is the issue of the GMOE.
No, but this is the-
You
this
have to
is-
maintain the standard.
Minister, can we get Sujiva to pose a question to you? I think
Yeah,
that's a
just
question.
I think it's very hypocritical. Then what about lawyers? Lawyers go to private schools and get their law degree. And then what about other on business administration? And then actually these are resources. When you create a doctor without the government
No,
spending,
but-
let me please finish. Let me, because my brother was in the private medical college and he became a gold medal doctor consultant, and his wife is also a consultant. And they have gone abroad and they have not spent a single cent from the country. And they're bringing so much revenue, foreign revenue to the country. They're sending all their money to this country. And their children are 2 doctors in England. And if they had not got that opportunity, they would have never had this opportunity. And if you're, and this is, you can't have double standards. And if you're allowing,
Because his
they're
brother
lost
is
that
brighter than him.
No, no.
He became
maybe so.
That's not the question. here,
Not a competition in the family, but all I'm saying now, because actually UMP started open economy. Now they are fully with open economy. UMP started Palat Sabha, provincial council. They are fully with it. And we started privatization. They are fully with it. And with all that, they are fully with it, but they have little, I think, hiccups here and there. And JP also is there wondering whether this is good or bad. We are studying. Now, what is there to study if it's a private medical college? We are paid and the people get in privately.
No,
so if you don't like it,
yeah.
you don't like it. But I like JVP changing with times. And I have spoken to a couple of JPs also, and they also agree if there's a sort of a good system, they won't oppose it because we need this. If you don't have private nurses, if you don't have private doctors, the country is going to, who's going to have money? Do we have oil? Do we have gas? Do we have natural resources in this country to, it's good. Idea is brilliant. If you can educate everybody in government universities, and it's ideal, it's brilliant. But we don't have, and I went to the government law college and I used the government money. And then I'm here, I don't know whether I'm contributing to the society now, being a lawyer.
Now the law profession and the medical profession is two different fields.
No, only difference I tell you.
Medical professionals are dealing with humans, right? But
lawyers also.
Lawyers, it's okay. But the thing is, we go through all the articles, laws, acts and all that. Then in the courts, of course, there are procedures and all that. But wait. Now see, for an example, this COVID-19. Now the doctor's duty is in the top of all other professions, no?
I need
so that minutes. Is why you need the brightest people.
Nadeem,
in the medical field.
Nadeem, this is, I think, I don't know, it's confusing. Most of the private medical college which was there in Ragama earlier, now all are consultants in Sri Lanka. And they are the ones who are treating COVID patients, and more than the government medical school, the gold medalists were from the private medical college. So just to check on the statistics, because I know I have been studying this. And then how can you allow them to see our patients in Sri Lanka? And what about the people who came from Russia? Sometimes you don't have even 4 Fs, the people who have gone to Russia. And what about England? What about other countries? And you don't have a problem with them because they are rich, super rich.
No, this came with Saitam, no? Now, Sujit, what is the meaning of Saitam?
I don't want the meaning of Saitam.
South Asian Institute of Technology and Management.
Yeah, but you love that.
No, wait. That is it was allowed, but yeah, technology and management.
Yeah,
but unfortunately,
technology and medicine.
Still the board is there. Wait. Then later on, the management medical. That's what happened.
Yeah, but you didn't stop, no.
Yes, now of course that is go on and all that.
Mr. President, I'd like to bring the subject back to this election, because I'm sure this topic will be debated in the next parliament as
some other day we can discuss this.
Actually, it is a failure of the education system. It is a failure of the government.
Not really.
Not the students or parents' bad behavior. It is a failure of the education system in our country.
Mr. President, bring it back to this upcoming election. There is a growing call from the public at large, regardless of which party they support, for greater accountability from the people that they're voting into parliament.
Yeah.
Now, 3 of your colleagues who are candidates from the SLPP have, for last year, made their asset declarations publicly available online. Mr. Taraka Balasurya, Mr. Vasudeva Nanayakkara, Mr. Vidura Vikramanayaka, and I believe he's on the SLFP, but maybe an SLPP candidate, Mr. Vimalavira Disanayaka. So 4. They've made it publicly accessible. As a former General Secretary of the UPFA, even though you're only a candidate of the SLPP now, do you think that it would be a good commitment to accountability to the public for the SLPP candidates to make their asset declarations publicly available?
All SLPP candidates, right? To my knowledge, except few at the
not just submit it to the Elections Commission.
Yes,
but
so that anybody can access.
But then if this is the problem with the asset declaration law, right? Because anyone can pay the 750 rupees and access it.
Yeah.
But for example, if I receive a copy and if I tell John what's in that, I can go to prison.
But in my case, of course,
That's
I
the
have
problem with the
more,
law.
I have
So
more,
if
I
you
have
make
more liabilities than assets.
Yeah, but the thing is, if candidates make it public themselves,
Yeah.
then the public can scrutinize
Yeah,
it
definitely.
collectively.
Definitely.
Do you think the SLPP
Yeah, that is
candidates should?
SLPP
Will you
or
take-
yes, yes. Even all the candidates, so they have submitted their asset declaration when the nominations close on 19th of March, right? Except one or two, and then later on they submitted their
So you
asset
support
declaration,
that step?
right? I don't mind even because I know that definitely. But I just want to clarify one thing that you asked one particular question about 13-member task force members. Most of them are from forces, of course. That task force formed to fight against the underworld and the drug dealers, of course, right? So you find in our Navy, in the mid-sea, they detected over 225 kilos of heroin. And then recently there was some fights between two rival groups of underworld and all that, not only in Sri Lanka, even in countries in southern part of America, that is Colombia and all other countries, Mexico and all.
Mexico.
Mexico.
Tackling it.
Yes, they are.
No, then,
Yes.
then-
I'd like
then
to come
what
back to
is the
that
point
topic of
then what is the
underworld,
point of
but
having the
this-
police? What is the
Huh?
point of having the already established Secretary of Defense? What is the point of having the commander of the armed forces?
Secretary of Defense is in charge of entire defense, no?
So why to appoint a task force? That is their role, to protect us.
And then you can ask simple question: why all our health ministry can handle COVID-19? Why do you want to appoint a task force with army commander?
With Basil Rajapaksa at the top of
No,
the
that is
task
different task force. No?
I think
That
it's
is
referring
not
to the
control
operations
COVID.
center.
That is to
Just-
supply
they
essential
They are
services.
not happy with that task force.
That is supply
But
essential
I
services.
like the fact, Minister,
like
that
food
you
and all
can
that.
choose a certain task force based on the whim and fancy of the government, and not talking about the task force that has been appointed by.
They are up to the task. That is why they have been appointed to
Mr.
the task.
Premadanda, I'm very glad that you've agreed that all SLPP candidates should make their
yes,
There is another task force
But
Ravin, yes.
about archaeological sites, especially in the eastern province. There were no any Tamil or Muslim persons in that task force. It is a big mistake.
No, not necessarily.
But
But you need.
Eastern
I
province,
would think if you say not
Muslims
necessary, they are going to be.
and Tamils
This is
are
what-
there.
That is not a,
No,
like
I-
a
so
independent commission. No,
I have
it's
a
not an
question for
independent
you.
commission.
No,
I
but,
have a
but in
question
the
for
east,
you.
no, it's the east.
Yeah,
so
east,
So
yes.
you need some educated, knowledgeable people
It
in
is
there.
But there's a
from-
businessman in that
the
task
presence
force.
of police and all that, they encroach
Yeah.
entire land of the Buddhist temple. Out of 71 acres, left only less than 10 acres. So nobody took steps during last many years.
we'll
But
leave
you
it
in
to
power, no? You in power for
No,
26 years now.
it came to the notice recently.
Mr. Senasinghe, we have a commitment from a former UPFA General Secretary and current SLPP candidate that all SLPP candidates will make their asset declarations public. You're the Deputy Secretary General of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya now, and your leader, Mr. Sajith Premadasa, when he contested for the presidency in his manifesto, he said that if he wins, the asset declarations of his cabinet ministers would be annually made public. Will the candidates of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya also take the step before the election as a commitment to the public to show their commitment to transparency and accountability, make the asset declarations publicly available online or through other means to the public?
Definitely. But Nadeem, what you have to keep in mind is a lot of these politicians, their assets are not under their names. So just because the asset declarations, I am willing to, at any time, because I have been maintaining it very well and I have submitted that to Parliament. I have no issues with that. But lot of them, the corrupt ones, not under their names. They live in Colombo 7 penthouses, but the assets are not under their names.
They drive the
So you
luxury
just-
cars, but the luxury cars are not
Luxury
listed on
cars
the
and the
asset declaration.
hotels, they go abroad and they go in. When they go abroad, they go in helicopters. So you have to have a proper system mechanism. When they go abroad, they must be checked. How did they buy their ticket? Abroad, they have a system. So that is what we were doing in the last government. We were computerizing all the agencies under one arm and under one number, like in the US. So you have to have, just because your asset, people can have your assets under other names.
Yeah. Mr. Herat, I mentioned earlier that there were several members of the SLPP and members of the UMP and now Samagi Jana Balavege who have made their asset declarations public. Even the TNA and the Muslim Congress, Mr. Sumandiran and Mr. Alizar Maulana have made it publicly available. But interestingly, none of the JVP members, whilst I'm sure you must be submitting it on time to whichever authority, none of the JVP members have taken that step of making it publicly available.
Actually, as a party, as a disciplined party, normally we are submitting our assets and liabilities reports to the Election Commission, and as a member of parliamentarians, we are submitting those documents to the Speaker. If somebody wants to see, they can do it.
But the problem is if they get it through that law, they can't share that information.
But the problem is, in our country, most of politicians and corrupted officials earn some money, but they do not mention those their assets in that documents. For example, if we take some.
But don't you think it's easier then for the public? Let's say if you have the asset declaration of the MP or the MP, it's easier for the public also to monitor. Look, he or she is driving around in a luxury car, but that car is not in their asset declaration. They live in a mansion or this thing, and they can then file that complaint with the Bribery Commission, which has a dedicated unit to look into these false and a false declaration is also a crime. No, so don't you think it should be made public?
Most of corrupted person earn some money, earn some black money, not using their names, personal names. For example, I remember some example. One of the leading politicians told me, I have no any bank accounts.
Not even a purse?
Not even purse. He know the person. Belongs to UNP. That's why he told me. He had a close relation with the avant-garde company.
But he lives in
owner of avant-garde. But he said that, no, I have no any bank accounts. Even I have no purse in my trouser. But he earned lot of money using that system.
But can we get an undertaking from the NPP as well? Now, SLPP and Samagijana Balavege, we have two representatives who said they are willing to make their candidates asset declaration.
Yes, we can. It is
the NPP also
yes, we are ready
on board
to
with that? Yes. On this issue of black money, Minister Premajayantha, we saw recently an SLPP candidate saying that we need to have the election soon because the injection of black money that comes with all of the campaigning will revive the economy. Do you stand by or do you condone that statement?
I can't remember who is the politician, but the thing is, you know, for last few years, of course, we were in the blacklist or ash list, especially in the European Union sector. But fortunately, within last few months, of course, we were taken out of that list.
The Financial Action Task Force last year in May or June delisted Sri Lanka, and the European Union followed suit based on that decision recently.
So we want to continue that. Of course, we have to keep our good name in the country. If we talk about black money and all that, this is not the opportunity to comment on it or make such statements.
But don't you think that what that MP said is possibly reflective of the reality? Because we saw even during a past commission of inquiry, it had come to light that a specific company had given I'm not mentioning any names because these people are not here to defend themselves, but there were talks about 1 million cash checks for 1 million rupees changing hands. So in this sort of like climate, don't you think that when a candidate of a specific party makes a statement like that, that the leaders of that party should immediately disavow that statement?
Yeah, but I know that there are some candidates who are given checks or cash by some companies for their election campaign. I don't blame them. But the thing is, as candidates who represent the people and talk about democracy, corruption and all that, it is up to them to not accept the cash or the check from those companies. So then we all know who were the MPs, the candidates, and who were given the checks and cash during the last election. So I don't want to comment on that because now most of them are candidates for this election also.
But can I add to that also?
Yes.
Yeah, so why don't you then not accept from anybody at all? Or else have a, because it's just a, when media organizations, when they choose to attack people, they attack. But when they choose not to attack, they don't attack. When they're friends, they're not attacked. So have a set rule from during campaigns, you should not accept at all, and this is the amount of money that you should spend.
Or during
or
campaigns,
else,
if you get any money, you should announce where
that's
it came
right. That's right. So those are the things that we need transparency.
And not only that, of course, if
How do you know which company? And that company may be a
after
different
electing
company
the
after 5 years.
Next parliament within next couple of months, of course, right? It is the duty of the next parliament to amend election laws and accommodate all the candidates, or the presidential candidates, or parliamentarians, or provincial council, right? So they can legally accept, like in some other countries, they have to show their accounts
And
after the election.
Not only that, but about
but unfortunately, in our election law, we don't have that.
what about promotions from media organizations, and those are also done for, so all
But,
that.
Mr.
All that must,
Mr. Senasinghe, actually, based on what Mr. Premajayanta said, there was a draft bill on this issue of campaign finance that
Yes.
was submitted to the previous cabinet.
Yeah.
And then that has apparently now stalled, either at the Legal Draftsman's
It didn't
Department or the
materialize.
Attorney General's Department. It has not progressed any further. So don't you think that even at the highest echelons of the political leadership, regardless of the party, whether it's the UNP or
That's
the SFP,
correct.
that there is a lack of will to get this passed?
I think
get
more than
this
the lack
done.
of will, there are other, I think, topics come forward, and so like you bring this up today, and other discussion we don't bring this up. This is the first time that, and now I'm like kind of thinking about it, and this is very good. We need transparency. We need because otherwise they pick and choose the people to attack, because there's no sort of a level playing field for the politicians, and they choose your friends, and then when they don't like your face, they attack, and they like the face, they don't attack. So this is not done, as you say. Bring a level playing field, have a certain guidelines, and I'm fully for
Now,
it.
Sujiva, people have come to a point now to say that they don't want the past parliamentarians to come into power. But when you look at the candidates, the individuals who are contesting the elections, the 225 or majority of them, at least 200, are contesting the upcoming elections. So what do you have to say to the people now? They are left with the old clique at the end of the day.
Not true. This is the mistake, because we are very good at criticizing systems. But if people want, how can they vote 150,000, 200,000 people vote for a person they don't want? And if they don't want them, they'll make sure that they lose. And that's what if they don't like me, don't vote for me and get rid of me. If they don't like the other two gentlemen, get rid of them. That's democracy, right? And they, even though you say something, the people might say something else. So we are created from people, and this is what I get really mad, because we are also put into the same bag as other politicians. So if you are not good, don't choose us. If you are good, choose us. That's all I'm saying. But people do it. They have the choice. And that is democracy in the world. And that is how it worked. In Singapore, we are not Americans, we are not from Bangladesh, we are not from Pakistan. These 225, out of how many in the list? So many. So many doctors, so many lawyers, so many educated people, so many honest people. And then check our records from the ministries that we have run, and check whether we have allegations from a certain, from even a single individual from those ministries. And then go through, for the public, just go through what sort of a person has he been telling the same thing over and over again. Have they been consistent? And check those. If a politician is not consistent, people have crossed over from this side, they have different principles, but still people choose them. Why do people choose? I don't understand. So people have the choice, and I'm telling them, choose them wisely. People don't choose people who change their policies. That is the ultimate test for a politician. Be consistent in whatever you say. Even you say something wrong and people don't, not wrong, people don't agree, but if you're consistent, that person has a personality and a reputation and a principle. And we don't have that. They change sides, they change leaders, they change, and we have not done that. And I have never taken a word back, and I always stand by the things that I have done, and leaders have done as well in my party. So think about that. So people have a
So I want to throw a
solid
question
choice.
to the three of you with regard to knowing about the policies that you will bring in when elected to the new parliament, if at all elected, because all three of you contesting the upcoming election. So let's start off with Vij Tehera. So what is the new thinking that you will bring to the new parliament, if at all an election is held by the end of July or the first week of August? What's the new thinking that you will bring in?
Actually, the society has been changing day by day. Therefore, we need new policies and new laws and regulations to the country. For example, we have not faced COVID-19 issue before. Therefore, we need new rules regarding the COVID-19 issue. And not only that, the election, as far as concerned, the election law, how to conduct such an election during the COVID-19 issue. It is a new situation. Election commissioner, chairman of the election commission said that they said to the director of general to health to issue a gazette notification mentioning the regulations, which was submitted by the DG to the election commission. The election commission said that those regulations must be identified as a rules of our country. Therefore, he said that please gazette those regulations. Likewise, we have to introduce new policies and new laws to the country. That is the duty of the parliament. Unfortunately, in our country, as far as our political culture, the people also hope not to make new policies or new rules and regulations by the parliament. They hope to come the politician, their funerals and their weddings and such a minor activities. But if we take a parliament, the duty of the parliament, it is based on make new policies. We have to face the 21st century, cyber century. Actually, it will be a cyber century. Therefore, we as a parliamentarians, we have to change our minds and attitudes according to the developed new modern society.
I also want to pose a question to you before I move to Minister Premajayant and then Sujeev about the policies that they will bring in if they are elected to the parliament. When we speak about trade unions, we speak about the JVP because of the color, because of the vociferous nature in which the JVP has brought in many issues to the forefront. How do you view the conduct of the GMOA, which is also a trade union representing the government medical officers? Because we saw a couple of months ago when COVID-19 pandemic hit Sri Lanka, they were very vociferous about the situation in the country and how the country should gear up to face COVID-19. But during the latter stages, just as the government was insisting on having an election, they became silent.
I heard some news in newspapers and some TV channels. Earlier GMO submitted so many proposals to the government according about the COVID-19 issue. Government also paid their attention at the very beginning of the COVID-19 issue. But after that, government and the officials of the health ministry did not pay their attention about the GMO opinion. Because of that reason, GMO said openly to the public, we proposed so many things, but the government did not care about that. The government has ignored our trade union. I don't know what is the reason, but it has happened. I think there is another hierarchy in the top level, decision making level structure.
So now we move to Sushil Premajayanta, Sri Lanka Pojana Peramuna candidate, and once a strongman of the previous government, who now receives information, unfortunately, through social media and newspapers. Minister Premajayanta, what is the new policy that you will bring in? Now, you have been in Parliament since 1991 and have been quite a formidable force for Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga, President Mahinda Rajapaksa, during the first few years of President Maithripala Sirisena, and now again Gotabaya Rajapaksa as well as Mahinda Rajapaksa as the Prime Minister. What would you bring in to the table?
Yes, now we are in a totally different situation after COVID or post-COVID situation. Because before March, of course, different situation. Not only in Sri Lanka, but in the entire world. So almost all the countries are facing this epidemic, the effect of the epidemic, and then economic, the difficulties in handling economics, and then some social welfare and all that. So therefore, we have to think new, out of the box after electing to the parliament. So we have to use the science, technology, and we have to give priority to health, the food security, and the investments, because we have to control the imports and improve exports, and then because we are losing some export opportunities as a result of COVID, of course, especially in the European countries, UK and United States, especially the garments. And on the other hand, our workforce, especially in the Middle East, nearly about 1.2 million expatriates who are working there, and they are remitting money, somewhere around 7.5 billion a year, US dollars, to Sri Lanka. And at the moment, we spent over 20 billion US dollars for our imports, but we are earning only about 11 billion US dollars every year at the moment. So then we have to bridge this gap. So, or we have to narrow down the gap. So then there are some opportunities also. Now, see, for an example, I saw on the CNN and BBC News that some research institutions in Western countries, they say there will be a black winter in most of the countries in the West and the USA. During the winter, there can be another wave of COVID. There's a strong possibility. So they have to get ready for that. So if that is the situation, of course, then we have to improve our exports in the garment sector to warm clothes and all that, right? So on the other hand, of course, if we are starting the tourist arrivals from 1st of August, according to our guidelines imposed by health authorities, so then we can invite, there are some wealthy people in Western countries. Now they don't have a place to go during the winter. Now, for an example, Maldives Islands, totally their tourist sector is in disarray, even in Bangkok and other countries. So it's a golden opportunity here.
When you say that Sri Lanka is going to be open for tourists starting the 1st of August.
there's a news item in the newspaper, and I know very well that the minister is getting ready to open
I'm scared to pose a question to you, Mr.
Yeah.
Premchandra,
No,
because you would say
that
you've
I
seen the
know.
newspaper and
No,
it's
that
going
I
to be
know
difficult
personally
for me to
because
pose a question.
I had a chat with the minister,
Yeah, so
and he
1st of
said
August,
that they
1st
are
of
getting
August.
ready to open the airport on 1st of August.
Right.
And then there's a possibility of tourists who are coming to Sri Lanka, so we have to get ready for that.
No, but what is the mechanism? It's very easy to say.
No, not the mechanism, of course. Now the thing is,
You know what's going to happen? Just like the US diplomat escaped the PCR test in the
No,
Khattai International Airport,
that is only
it
one
may have-
incident. No,
It may happen
that
again.
is that is why we have to get ready for that.
That is why I'm asking you what the mechanism is.
Mechanism, of course, the health authorities and the government officials, the airport authority and the Sri Lankan Airlines, so they will get ready. Now, see, for an example.
No, because then, or else you all might say, the government might say, not your, but the government might say, someone was sleeping, they were trying to contact this person, so henceforth this person.
No,
left
that
the
is
airport,
of course with that.
Starting the 1st of August.
With that experience, of course, that's only one incident. No, so then we have to get ready for that. You can't just close the entire tourist. There are so many.
No, one incident, Mr. Premchandra, the one incident in Sri Lanka has changed political landscapes. Let's talk about the bond scam. Let's
that is
talk
different.
About the April
No, you
21st bomb attacks.
can't
How the
compare.
government took
Wait.
leverage over
You are
the lapse
mixing
of
up.
security
You
in the
are
country.
you are mixing
One
up.
incident,
Wait. You are
one
mixing.
incident changed the political landscape in Sri Lanka.
Right. You are mixing up.
You know,
the
Mr.
bond issue.
Premchandra,
Wait.
You know how,
So let-
how
no, no,
Gotabaya
let me-
Rajapaksa's candidacy came into
No.
play right after the April 21st attacks as a hero who will safeguard national security in the country. One incident, matter of minutes, many lives were lost. Don't forget that, Minister
Now
Premchandra.
I am allowed to speak.
Of course, you are allowed to speak, but when you're
No,
misleading
but
the public,
but
I have to jump in
what
and
I can
what-
say is
what
I
is the
can
truth.
say is bond issue is a different scenario, but this is a different scenario, and the Saharan's attack is a different scenario. So you can't compare equally the bond issue. It is one diplomat escape.
No, the government can
From
easily
the-
cherry pick, Minister.
No.
Premchandra. Very easy to say.
Government took immediate steps. Foreign Ministry inform all the missions. This is
I will ask you, Kasiga, where is this diplomat? Let's forget about everything. Tell me, where is this diplomat? Now, you are in government. You tell me, and I will accept your answer.
Yeah.
I am asking you a very simple question.
Yeah.
Where is this diplomat now?
That is, of course, definitely the US mission. They
Where?
are responsible for their diplomat.
Where is this
So
person?
you can ask from them. Definitely, the foreign ministry, they know
Minister-
whereabouts of
Minister,
that.
you were a cabinet minister.
I
you
was.
were the general secretary
Yes.
of the UPFA,
So?
which was the strongest political party in Sri
Yes.
Lanka. If you don't know where this diplomat is,
it's
how
a very
do you
strange that
expect
question.
the people of
No,
Sri
your
Lanka to know where this
question
diplomat
is very strange. I am sorry to tell you this. Right?
How
Because you
strange is it?
you
Mr.
try
President,
to
I don't
escape
understand.
from, right? Well,
But I'm asking you a simple question. Where is this?
yeah, that
where
is why I
this
simply
diplomat?
asked you, right? So this is one particular incident. Immediately, foreign ministry took steps, right?
One
Without-
incident.
with-
Where is this diplomat?
So
Because
they-
if you don't
they-
know, just tell me you don't know.
How
because
can
I don't know.
How can I know?
want to know.
How
The
can
people
I know?
want to know.
No, definitely.
We want to
wait,
safeguard ourselves and not go near this particular diplomat in question because he may be infected with COVID-19. There is a suspicion. Very simple, Minister.
No, you don't allow me to answer.
No, I'm asking. If you don't know, tell me you don't know.
You
If you know
pose
the place
question
of this
one after the
particular
other.
diplomat,
I know
right.
the reason.
Yeah. Where is this
I know
person?
the reason
Where
because
is this
you
diplomat?
just want to point.
No, where
point
is this
out
diplomat?
this
No, where is this
So
diplomat? I don't want to.
How can
I
I
just
know?
want
I am only a citizen of this
Right,
country, and
okay,
now I
so
am a
just-
candidate.
just-
You can ask this particular question from the foreign ministry. Definitely, the foreign ministry
Right.
and the United States the mission, the ambassador.
Right.
They know very well the whereabouts of the diplomat. This is not like a tourist. No, it's a diplomat.
Thank you very much.
So he has a responsibility to inform the foreign ministry and their hierarchies in the country
Right.
where he's residing, right? So then how can I answer to that? I am not in the CID.
Anyway, thank you very much, Sisi Premchandra, Sri Lanka Pojana Permanent candidate. Minister, I must tell you, we really appreciate you being on the show tonight because we've invited you in a lapse of 4 weeks now,
Yes.
and you come back again on the show. So we salute you for being on the show and enlighten the people on the government's policy. I want to move my attention to Sujiva Senasinghe now. Tell me a little bit about the policies that you all will bring in. It's a new political party altogether. People are waiting to see what sort of changes your political party can bring into the table. But there is also a bit of skepticism because you've seen Sajith Premadasa not being very vocal before when he was in parliament on many issues, and I don't want to name them. But you know, Sujiva, there has been many instances, and the government has pointed the finger at him as well, saying, where were you at this point? Where were you when this issue was discussed? So there is some sort of criticism leveled at your political party as well. What changes can you bring in?
Answering your question, I'll start because I have been very vocal on a lot of points, but
not you.
But I'm not the leader. That's what I'm saying. Just because you're vocal on a lot of points, you can't be the leader.
Yeah.
But he has all the credentials to be a leader.
He's also like me, as you said.
Yeah. So he has all the credentials to be a good leader, and he has performed. And by his past record, people can see he has been a very clean and a uncorrupted leader. And he has proven from his records, from his ministries, how efficient he had been. And he's very young as well. And I'm thanking Nadine, actually, you have been championing this cause. I'll start with that, zero corruption. Our policy will be zero corruption. I'll take something out of a cue from what you said today. And to add these two things, the first, the asset declaration, to make it compulsory for all our candidates, and we have made it, but we have not made it public. And we'll do the other one also. I wanted to propose it because I have been a victim of this issue of especially campaign funds. So I didn't want to get into it, but all of a sudden you find a company and say after 5-6 years this company is not good. So we have to have a proper checks and balances, and that was never intimated to us that that is wrong. And so I can vouch for my character and my background, and I have no issues with that. I'll challenge anybody. We have been very clean, very clear of my dealings, and my asset declaration is very clear as well. Starting with that, zero tolerance for corruption. We have a solid team, a young team, which is uncorrupt, and with that team, we will go forward in the direction that we have proposed. And then, first of all, the situation, easing of the situation, to give the general public, the poor people, some sort of redress in this situation, some sort of help so that they can first get on their feet. This had been done in Pakistan, this had been done in India, this had been done in other South Asian countries, and we have not done that. This government has not done that. And what they promise, first they promise they will be given 20,000, and then a dry ration pack. That never came, and then the 5,000 came, that barely came, and then the next 5,000 disappeared out of nowhere, and then the water bills, then the electricity bills, then the telephone bills, give some, and especially the company. So we need a lot of planning for that. We have to be proactive, not reactive. This government has been reactive, no plan, no agenda, no management at all. They are reactive, they react to the situation tomorrow and don't plan anything. And we will develop the infrastructure. That is our main concern. Our leaders have done that, and we were completing it, most of it. Within 3 years, we built 140 kilometers of highways, and people have not been, actually, we have not marketed this properly, the Kerala-Pitya, and then the Beliyatta, and then one phase of the Kandy as well.
But not
and with this, don't disturb,
not
please.
A single power plant.
And with the leader, their leader, with Maithripala Sirisena and Mr. Wickremesinghe, we had issues. We had issues, and he was his good leader, very close to him as well when he came and joined us. Not our choice. That is what Mr. Wickremesinghe did for us. He invited the third common candidate, the second common candidate, and we were saddled with him. And with all that, we did a lot of good things. We increased the salaries, and I don't want to go into that. And then we improve the infrastructure, the soft rail system, all that, and the ports will be developed. With the infrastructure, tourism will be increased, and then the fisheries also will be increased. We'll bring a lot of technology into it, and then with that we have to move into, that is our forefathers did, our leaders. We brought the garment sector, Sri Lanka, that is 6 billion. Out of 11 billion he was mentioning, and another 3 billion must be added to Mahaveli. Out of that we cultivate now, and the lights and the electricity are also given by that. And these were done about 25-30 years. We have not been in government for 30 years, and we have the same crop of leaders, Jayawardena, Gamin Sanayaka, Lalit Athulam Mudali, same leaders we have now in the SGB, Sajith Premadasa's group, Samagi Jana Balavege.
I have
Let
a
me
question for you.
please finish. I'll go smoothly. Then
No, I need to interrupt you here.
Yes, yes, yes.
Sujiva.
Yes.
You speak, the three of you spoke about, very eloquently about how infrastructure development will take place, how food security will take place. Vijay spoke about it. You spoke about many aspects, what has been done in the past,
Yeah.
and that will be a reflection for the future.
Yes.
But little do you realize that the way forward for any country right now is science and innovation.
That's right. So I'm coming there. I didn't finish. No?
All right, okay.
So I was talking about infrastructure, and because I was the science and technology minister.
Yeah.
And after him, and we have done a good job actually. Both of us, I had to commend him as well. I invited him for with a placard also for the service that he had rendered. I have to, even he's from a different party, something that he has done good, I have to always say that. And after that, within my tenure, very short spell, I made a lot of changes in our ministry and different institutions as well. We brought I did a lot of work, and I brought the Shilpa Sena, and I didn't spend any money also, a very limited amount of money, about 1/30th of something that others spent on a project like that. And we had about 600,000 children coming into that. Okay. And we started on an innovation project, and especially a license being given to that. And I created a fund for that. All that we were doing, I was there only for about, I think, 6 or 7 months. So I was not able to carry out the rest of I was going to create a fund like Mahapola, and that we were planning on that. Because this is the first time I got an opportunity as a minister, non-cabinet minister. Earlier I was the state minister. Actually, I brought in industrial zone to Kalutara, and that was stopped by Mr. Wickramasinghe. They said report.
Are you confident that you will get a ministerial post if Sajid Premadasa is appointed?
Definitely, I'm one of the main ministries. One of the main ministries, but even if I don't get it, I don't have a problem if a talented another guy gets a
Thank
ministry.
you very much.
It's just that innovation is going to be one of our number one. I had like partnership with Iran, and we had a problem with Iran is like doing really well on innovation. And we had partnerships with other countries. Italy also, we were going to bring all the technology so our investors can invest in their technology. So that's one thing. And then getting into industrial zones around the country, about 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 acres will be developed for industrial zones. And electronic items from garments, I just want to finish that.
I'll give you 10 seconds to finish.
From the garment sector, we should have moved into electronics, and we didn't move into. So that is our next plan, manufacturing car parts. And doing that, we have done the work, and National Export Strategy was championed by me, and that is funded by ITC, 6,000 lakhs.
We have done that. I want to ask you a question. When you say about car parts,
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
When you say
no, can I answer that also? Can I answer that?
You don't have to answer that.
I can answer that also. One second. One second. No, from what he said, he's saying President Gotabaya Rajapaksa is not a good person to do all that.
No.
He did not say that.
If you are,
he's saying you have to
do this after this election.
If he's a good person, we can do it. No,
definitely not after this election. After another 2 elections.
No, but
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa wants SGB Sajid Premadasa to be the Prime Minister candidate.
Thank you very much, Sujiva, for joining us this evening.
If he wants to do something good.
So I want to thank all three of you for joining us this evening. Thank you very much, Vijay Herwat, National People's Movement candidate, for joining us this evening on Face the Nation. We've had you also in the last couple of weeks, and thank you very much, Vijay, for joining us as always on the show. It's a pleasure to listen to NPP's view on Sri Lanka's political landscape. Thank you very much, Minister Premajayanta, Susil Premajayanta, Sri Lanka Pujana Peramuna candidate. I must say Minister Premajayanta was a very strong individual in the previous government, and he will, as he proclaims, will be strong again if he's elected to the parliament. Thank you very much, Sujiva Senasinghe, Deputy General Secretary of the Samagi Jana Balavege, candidate contesting from Colombo. And thank you very much, Nadeem. Thank you very much, John, for joining us this evening on the show. I leave you tonight with a quote, as I always do. Honesty and transparency make you vulnerable. Be honest and transparent anyway. Take care and good night.
See you. Then we can